Welcome back to the Big Leagues podcast. David and Isaac bringing you a UFC 304 breakdown. Jumping right into the main card. Starting off, we got Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Arnold Allen minus 270 favorite. Pretty interesting. I think this is a pretty good fight. I mean, Arnold Allen, really good fighter, had like a big win streak, and then he lost his last two fights, but it was against Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev, so really no shame in that. And then on the other side, Chikadze had a bit of a win streak, lost to Calvin Kattar, bounced back, got a win. Really talented striker. I think this fight's a little bit closer than the odds might imply. What's your initial thoughts on it?
I mean, for me, I'd probably go Arnold Allen because really he hasn't lost like both of his losses, like Holloway, like that's you can't really blame him for losing to like the top guy. And then Evelev, like he's one of them up and coming Russians who's just nasty, and he lost a decision there, even though he got whooped. But I like Arnold Allen. Like I think he's got a good complete game. He's a good striker. Um, I'd lean him. I don't know. I think it'll be a close fight. Like I think 275 might be a little much, but I think Allen's gonna win, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Chikadze guy. He's a really good striker. He's got a lethal switch liver kick that I think he'll definitely look to implement. So watch for that. I mean, if you get hit in the liver, like it doesn't matter how tough you are, like if you get hit in the right spot, like your body just shuts down. So I think that could be a factor too. I mean, he's got a 4 inch reach advantage. He'll like look to try to use that. Um, Arnold Allen, like he can grapple, but I'd be interested to see if he tries to mix in some grappling. I think he definitely has an advantage there, but I don't know. Like I could see this being predominantly a striking match. I think I would pick Chikadze to win a decision. To be honest, I think it'll be kind of a back and forth striking match. Like he'll probably I pick him to win like a 29-28 type of fight, like a pretty close one on the cards. But yeah, I mean, could go either way. Anything else on that one for you, Mia?
I mean, I think probably just what you're speaking on. If Allen will try to take it to the ground. I mean, I think in his last fight where he lost to Evelev, I think he kind of just got forced into being on the ground for the majority of the fight. So I think his strength is his striking, to be honest. So I think it's going to stay on the feet for the majority of the fight. Like maybe if he's losing some of the exchanges, he could look to shoot for a takedown. Maybe put him over the notch for like a round, maybe with the takedown. But I think it'll be mostly striking, probably.
Yeah, yeah, I think that this will be a good one. Uh, I guess moving on to the next one, we got Mohamed Mokaev versus Manel Kopp. Mokaev minus 125 favorite, Kopp plus 105. I mean, Mokaev 12-0, pretty impressive. He's really shown his kind of dominance as a grappler. He's just got relentless pressure on, puts that on guys, and he can get subs, a lot of decisions as well. Manel Kopp, really good striker. Also a pretty talented grappler as well, but I think he'll want to keep this fight on the feet. Mokaev will look to take it on the ground. I mean, for me, I'm taking Mokaev in this one. I'm pretty confident. Like I said, I just think Mokaev, his pressure that he puts on people, like he's just relentless looking for that takedown. And I think Kopp might be able to stuff a few, but I think Mokaev will eventually get the takedown he needs to win rounds and potentially even get a submission. What do
Yeah,
you think?
I'm also gonna go with Makayev. I mean, he shoots for so many takedowns, and when he gets you on the ground, like I'm pretty sure every win he has is either by submission or by decision. Like he's very good at finding submissions, putting pressure on them, and I mean I don't think Kopp's just gonna. I think he's just gonna get taken down. Like, and even if he limits the damage, doesn't get submitted, I think he's just gonna lose by control time. And so I'd either pick him by decision or submission.
Yeah, I probably agree with that one as well. Like, I really think Kopp. I mean, could I see a world where he gets a decision? Sure. I think he's probably going to want to try to get that knockout. I mean, he had a pretty nice like flying knee knockout. If he could kind of time Mokaev come in with a knee or just clip him before he can really get his hands on him, I think that's probably his best bet. But I'm excited to see what happens like with Mokaev. I mean, he's 12-0. I really thought the UFC probably could have gave him that last title shot over Usyk, to be honest. But I mean, we'll see. This a big kind of putting him on a big spot
Yeah,
if he wins this. I mean,
I don't
I don't
know.
know if it's necessarily like a deserved title shot, but it's just looking at that division, it's hard to kind of pick who it would be, but he'd probably be, I would say, one more fight away from a title shot at that point. In my
Yeah, like if he wins this, I'd say he'd either be, maybe in line for his next fight to be a title shot, or potentially like one more, maybe fight one of the guys at the top and then get the title shot. Like if he wins this, he's either next fight or another fight away from a title shot, I'd say.
yeah, I think that'd be interesting. I mean, like Pantoja's the champ right now. Like stylistically, I don't know if that's a great matchup for him because Pantoja's such an elite grappler, could kind of counterbalance Mokaev's grappling, and then I think
Yeah.
Pantoja's just a lot better on the feet, so it'd be a tough matchup. But he
Yeah.
is an interesting prospect, only 23 years old. I mean, that's really young for the UFC. So I think we'll see him for a while, and he'll
Yeah.
definitely get a title shot at some point.
Yeah.
And then here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
We got formerly known as Bobby Green, changed his name to King Green versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. King Green minus 125 favorite,
Really?
Paddy plus 105. I mean, King Green, 37 years of age, Paddy only 29. I mean, I'll throw this one over to you. Like, what do you think about this?
I mean, unfortunately for King Green, I think he's going to be getting dethroned by Patty. Like, he's 37. I know he won at UFC 300, but it's just kind of an age thing. Like when I think he's past his day, and like Patty, I know I'm not crazy on him, but I think like honestly, I thought he'd be favored by like a bit, to be honest. But I think this is just like the disrespect's getting a little like he can grapple, he can strike. Like
Yeah.
Patty's a good fight. Like I'm not sure if Bobby Green's beaten Tony Ferguson for sure, King Green,
Well, he
but
did beat Tony, actually.
yeah. But I mean, I think Patty, to be honest, decision. I don't know. King Green's he's just not how he was like a few years ago, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like I'm a big Steelers fan. I'm getting a lot of Antonio Brown like vibes off King Green these days. To put it lightly, I think he's definitely exhibiting some CTE symptoms. So I don't think that's gonna work in his favor. I mean, yeah, looking at a guy that's 37 years old, 2 fights ago he got brutally KO'd by Jalen Turner, and like the ref just, I don't know if he was half asleep or what, but he let Turner just tee off like shots on him when he was dead. So I mean that definitely didn't help his brain. And I mean, I don't know if I necessarily see Patty like putting him spark out or anything, but I just think like King Green, he's not a hammer. I mean, he can definitely knock guys out, like, but I like that's not really his kind of game. Is putting people out like that. Good wrestler, but doesn't really use it. I mean, Patty's a better grappler, so I think like even if he did try to wrestle, I think that'd be kind of dumb. I think Patty's got much better of a submission threat. So yeah, I mean, and we've seen before with that Patty versus Jared Gordon fight, especially being in England, like if that's a decision, he's gonna have to knock him down every round or else he ain't getting it. So
Yeah.
I think for those reasons, I think I'd go Patty as well. I mean, yeah, King Green 15th ranked, so if Patty gets this win, he's entering the rankings, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens from there. But I don't know. Yeah.
I like. Would this be the last we see of King Green if he loses?
Maybe, I don't know. Hard to say. I mean, you could argue that it's probably time to hang it up, but I could see him sticking around trying to
Yeah.
make a little more paper, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like honestly, it should be a good fight because I could see them kind of just they're both not crazy good power strikers, so they could just be exchanging some blows. I could see it being a good fight, but I
Yeah.
just think Paddy's got the youth, and also in his home in England. Like I think he'll just have the crowd behind him, and I think he'll come out and have a good performance.
Yeah, I think no matter what, I think it'll at least be entertaining, whatever happens. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I know Patty was I seen someone asked him the other day, like, uh, to map out his road to the title shot, and he said if he beats King Green and then fights Moicano, which like pretty. I mean, I don't think I'd favor him, but it's certainly looking at the top 15 guys, he'd be one of the better stylistic matchups. And then after that, he said he wants Dariush, which I think I think he's a little overrated. I'd definitely
Yeah,
favor him over Patty, but I think again that's about as stylistically favorable path as you could get. So the UFC is going to do whatever they can to propel him into that
I
top
don't. You
five.
think beating Dariush is? He thinks he's getting a title shot after beating Dariush?
I think he did say like then he'd have to fight like a top
Yeah,
3-5 guy, but
yeah.
yeah,
I I wouldn't sweat a title shot anytime soon, Patty. If I'm being honest.
no, I don't think so either. And then moving on to the co-main event, we got the fake heavyweight title on the line, the fake interim title between Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. Aspinall minus 400 favorite, Blades plus 300. This is technically a rematch. They fought before, and Aspinall blew out his leg in 15 seconds. So doesn't really count as a loss in my books. But yeah, I mean, Aspinall minus 400. That's definitely my play. I think he's gonna finish Blades. I think he's gonna get him out of there quick. To be honest, I yeah, like I see under 3.5 rounds finish for Aspinall.
I'd agree with you on that. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't. I would have rather see Gone and Aspinall. Like there's, I like Aspinall. I just think he's on another level than Blades. To be honest, and Blades is great heavyweight. Top 5 for sure. But I think Aspinall's like whatever way Blades wants it, he'll get it. Like he's
Yeah,
got more power. He's got way better wrestling. Like I just don't really see a path to victory unless maybe Blade just kind of did like what he did to Almeida, like just
yeah,
getting dominated, then he just pops him good night. Like I don't know, but
yeah. When you're looking at heavyweights, it's like any shot could end the fight at any moment. So there's not really any sure things. But I mean, barring just like a fluke KO, I think it's Aspinall's fight to
yeah.
lose.
Well, I saw Joanna came out and said today that if Aspinall wins, it's a title defense. It should be credited as a title defense, which I probably don't agree with unless maybe goes out and beats John Jones, then I'd be willing to listen to it. But
Yeah.
like
It's
if
hard to say, right? Because like when you have the interim title, like you're supposed to fight for the actual title. Like that's the whole point of it. So this foolishness they're doing with Stipe, I think is
no,
silly. No one wants to see that fight. I think it's a big mistake by the UFC. I mean, like maybe there's some people that are older. Like I know the two of us, like we weren't really big into the UFC when Stipe
in his
was
heyday,
at his best. So
yeah.
it's like, do I really want to see these like old men fighting for like what stakes? Like I don't know. I'd rather see Aspinall, Pereira, Jones, like any of those three.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
really care about
I,
Stipe.
I'm Dane. I believe Dana was on Shaq's podcast, and Shaq was asking him if we'd ever see John Jones against Pereira, and Dana was going on how Rogan's like begging him to make that fight. So like I could see that being in the mix soon, to be honest, especially because Pereira and Ankalaev like still aren't really. It's not set in stone. So I'm interested to see kind of what. Let's say Aspinall wins and Jones wins. I'm interested to see like what the next fight is, to be honest, because
Yeah.
it just wouldn't make sense for Aspinall not to fight. Like, there's no way he's gonna fight another like against Cyril Khan for the interim again.
Defends his interim belt twice. That would be ridiculous. But
Yeah,
I mean, geez, if I think he's probably just gonna wait and see what happens with Jones. I mean, if Jones wins and retires, then you probably do Pereira Aspinall for the actual belt. I think
yeah,
that's really what makes the most
yeah.
sense. I
But
mean,
like,
if Jones
I
does stick around, I mean,
Pereira's
man, it
got to
would
be
be
the
tough
more
not to make that Pereira fight. Like
it'd
that's
be
what
the more
people want to
lucrative
see.
fight for sure. Like
Yeah.
that's about as big a fight you can make right now in the UFC, I think.
I mean, so what like rank me those three guys?
Right now,
Yeah.
John Jones 1, Pereira 2, Aspinall 3.
Really? Okay. So you think Pereira would beat Aspinall?
I mean, there's definitely like stylistically, I'm not sure if it's great for Pereira because Aspinall could probably wrestle him, but
Mm.
I mean, Pereira's just shown like even when Prohaska's a better wrestler, even when Blahovic is a better wrestler, like he can just put anyone's lights out with one like one left hook. So I
Yeah,
just I just have a hard time picking against a guy who just time and time again people count him out and then he shows up and he just gets the job done.
yeah. I mean, like you never want to count that kind of guy out. That just has the stone hands, like the power of God in his hands. But I mean, for me, it's just tough. Like Tom Aspinall, 6'5", 260. Like he's a big boy. He's also got power in his hands. Really good wrestler, really good grappler. I mean, yeah, tough to say. I think I would pick. To be honest, I think if I gave my rankings, I think I'd have
You could
Aspinall 1, John 2,
no.
Pereira 3.
See, I think Pereira as of right now, like I think he's proven more than Aspinall, even though Tom's been in the like Pereira's already, I believe he's beat 5 like former champions, and I mean
Yeah, it
Aspinall,
just
yeah,
we're talking about at heavyweight though. Like
yeah,
Pereira's never
it's by
fought
far,
at
I'd say it's
heavyweight,
the
which is
weakest division, honestly, like depth wise,
yeah.
because
You
like
could argue it.
if Pavlovich and Gon and Blades are kind of like in the mix for the title, like all due respect, like it's not a top 2 division, but
Yeah.
anyways,
I
interesting to
mean,
see what will happen there.
yeah. I think the Jones Aspinall fight is really interesting because both guys are elite like in all aspects of the game. So it's not like I think if Jones fights Pereira, like I think Jones is just gonna do exactly what he did to Cyril Gane and just take him down and sub him in one round. I mean, yeah, Pereira's ground game's improved a lot, but like it's really, really hard to make up that missed time. Like someone like John Jones who's been wrestling his whole entire life. Like it's just hard to make up that gap in that time. And
I
yeah,
mean,
he can kind of look okay against Blahovic, but even still, like Izzy was able to take him down pretty much at will. Blahovic was I mean, he didn't really do much with his grappling, but he was able to kind
he
of
just kind of
win the
held him down.
grappling. And even Prohaska kind of, I mean, again, didn't really wasn't really successful with it that much, but still kind of showed that he could do it. So
I'd
yeah,
be interested to see how John approaches that fight because, like, I think honestly it'd be like kind of the fight we never saw between John and Anthony Rumble Johnson. Like that type of, I think Pereira's got that type of power because, like, if he catches John, I like we've never really seen John like be in danger by like getting dropped with a shot. I'd be interested to see if Pereira like connected flush because I don't know, we just
out
never
of
seen
those three that you ranked, where would you fit in Francis?
Francis versus Pereira. Like I'm trying to
That's
picture
the
that.
fight I would want to see.
I'm trying to picture that. I think if it was Aspinall Ngannou, I'd probably lean Ngannou because
Okay.
I feel like it kind of be like the Pavlich fight where they'd probably just stand up and slug it out, and it's only gonna last one of them's going down in 2 minutes. Like whoever lands the first clean shots, like nights, good night.
Yeah.
But I'd probably put Ngannou second, I think, for heavyweight. Because Pereira, even though he's the cheat code at just, cutting weight and getting down and then fighting at like 240, but I think Ngannou's he's just bigger. Like I think Pereira's just maybe too small to fight Ngannou
Yeah.
to be.
Like Francis is huge. I don't know. That's tough for me. I think I'd probably slide Francis to third.
Like I think John would make easy work of him.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
not
think John
easy
would
work,
grab
but
that.
I think John would win for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this fight or the heavyweights?
No, might as well get to the main event.
Yeah, main event. We got two pretty controversial fighters here. We got Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Leon minus 210 favorite, Bilal Muhammad plus 175. Arguably two of the more boring fighters. Not too many finishes on the resumes, relatively speaking. Um, I guess I'll start off here. I got Leon Edwards winning this fight pretty comfortably. I mean, like Bilal Muhammad, mostly a wrestler, like his whole career, he just kind of pumped people's legs, took them down, held them down, did nothing, like basically the whole time. And then I think he started to hear people say that how boring he was. And to his credit, he has kind of rounded out his game a little more, became a better striker. I mean, he knocked out Sean Brady on the feet and like didn't even attempt any takedowns against Gilbert Burns when he beat him. To also add context, Gilbert Burns had like a broken arm. So, I mean, I'd like to think that you'd get that win at that case. But yeah, so like, do I see Bilal being able to take Leon down? I mean, maybe, but in those Usman fights, Leon really showed that he's a world class grappler,
And
man. And
I'd say Usman's a far better wrestler than Bilal too. So I wouldn't even be that worried if I'm Leon about like Bilal just like trying to crotch sniff. I just think Leon outclassed him. Like, to be honest, I think it's a little egregious how like Bilal kind of just bitched and moaned saying he's not fighting anyone, like he deserves a title shot, which to be fair, like maybe he did, like he'd be kind of in the mix for one. Like he hasn't really lost anyone, and he beat Gilbert Burns even though he was injured. But I'm just gonna be. I hope Leon knocks him out. To be honest, like I'm not a fan of Bilal.
no,
I'd
me
love to see
neither.
Leon win, but
Bilal might be like the most hated fighter in the UFC.
he
It's pretty
very
fun.
well. Him and Aljo, I'd say it'd be up there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably a couple others on the list, not like Colby'd probably be up there, but
No, yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think Leon's striking is just too sharp. I mean, he like technically Leon's striking is probably, to be honest, up there out of anyone in the UFC. He's so technical, so sharp, like never really loads up too much, like just throws with just enough power. I mean, these guys did fight once before a few years ago. Leon won
I
round one
vote.
pretty
Yeah,
convincingly, rocked him with a head kick, had him wobbled, and the fight ended round two with an eye poke. So we kind of get that rematch. I mean, for me, I probably see this fight going the distance, to be honest. Like, I'd be pretty confident
yeah, I
in it
would be
going the
as well.
distance. I'd probably, like, if I was betting it, I'd probably hedge a little with Leon by KO. I don't really see anyone getting a submission at all, and I don't really see Bilal getting a knockout either. So I would probably play fight to go the distance with a little hedge on Leon by KO.
Yeah,
Does that kind of
I'm.
sound to you?
I'd probably sprinkle on Leon by unanimous or Leon by KO, because I honestly think Leon will probably like. I just think he's better on the feet. And if he can if Bilal goes for a few takedowns early and he stuffs them out, maybe they'll just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a kind of a boring fight though. Just,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think it
like
will be too.
I feel like their styles are kind of somewhat similar at striking. They both kind of don't go for big time shots. They kind of play conservative.
Mm.
So I'd say distance is a fair bet. But like, how would you see Bilal winning this fight if he has a path to it?
Uh,
Because that's what I was trying
like
to
a
think.
lucky head kick. I don't know. Like, I
What do
mean,
you
I
think?
I feel like I'm kind of being a, a little mean to him. I mean, he's a good fighter for sure. I just when you match the two up, I just don't really see where he has the advantage. I mean, anyone can knock out anyone at any point, I guess. So like, is it a possibility? Yes. Do I like see it happening? Not really. I mean, Leon's just a better striker, like pretty by a fairly wide margin in my estimation. So I don't know.
Could you imagine the scenes though if Dana had to give Bilal the belt in England from Leon? I can only like they'll have to get a close up on Dana's face when the decision comes because he'd be fuming.
Yeah, he would not be pleased. I mean, what would you do? I mean, does it matter who wins that fight, who you give the next shot? Like, I'd think probably Shav caught him. I would have to think.
Yeah, I I, I mean I'd think so to be honest.
I feel like it's one of those things too where it could depend on like maybe you give Shavkat another fight and then say like Usman's in the mix. If he got a like if he were to beat Shavkat, I think you'd give him the shot. Oliveira talked about moving up. Like if he beat a top five guy, you could give him a shot. So
Yeah,
I
well,
think there's
if
people out
they
there.
go the Usman Shavkat route, they make that fight. even if Oliveira went in and be like humbled Colby or something, I feel like that's got to be the next title shot, either Usman or Shavkat. And then I think, like, hypothetically, I mean, I guess it could go both ways. If Bilal won and they just make Shavkat Bilal, whether would Usman be next, no matter who wins?
Like, I think that's forecasting too far in advance. I think we'd have to see how things play out.
We do.
But,
like,
I mean, me personally, I think Shavkat beats both of them pretty. I think Leon would give him the most trouble, but I would pick him over both. Would you agree with that or no?
Shavkat over Leon and Bilal, I would agree with that. I think I was just, while you're going on, if Bilal loses a fight that could be made that I'd be very interested in seeing is potentially Colby Bilal. Yeah, like
I knew where you were going with that.
I feel like that'd be, because it's personal. It's Colby makes it personal with everyone, but he doesn't like Bilal, and Bilal clearly doesn't like him. So, and like they'd both kind of be the guys who aren't getting a title shot for sure, like next fight. So I feel like that kind of be the most.
I think that's the fight to make. I mean, they got a storyline already built up. Two kind of similarly styled guys. I think they would be a striking match, which would be pretty interesting. I mean, we don't gotta get into predictions here yet, but I think that'd be a pretty cool fight to see.
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
I mean, another thing with this card too is that it's in England, and like the main events and stuff, they'll be fighting at like 4 a.m. or like whatever, something like that, like ridiculously early. I mean, I don't know what the UFC is doing there. Like, I think you could just throw it at regular time, and people in the West gotta just watch in the afternoon. Like, to be honest, I enjoy a nice afternoon card once in a while. I mean, I wouldn't want it all the time in the afternoon, but I don't know. I feel like that's pretty shitty for the people in England that gotta stay up.
It is ridiculous because, like, I'd be pissed if like the UFC was in England and then came to Canada and we had to like be up like till 5 a.m. like to like watch the main card. Like, that'd be pretty ridiculous. But I guess it's the bottom line's making as much money as you can, I guess. So
is what it is. Any other thoughts on this card?
I mean, I'd say this is a pretty good card, all things considered. Like, I wasn't crazy about the two kind of title fights. Like, I don't think they're the craziest matchups, but honestly, having like Arnold Allen and Patty and King Green on like some of the main card fights, I think it's a pretty well-rounded card, and I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's a pretty good card. Like, I wouldn't say it's a spectacular card, but no, I don't think it's anything to complain about. I mean, we got so spoiled with 299 and 300. Like, not all the cards are going to be like that, unfortunately. So, I mean, this is pretty much what a standard good card looks like. So, I'll be pretty excited to see how it pans out. And we're up the video there, I guess. Like this video, subscribe. We'll be back with more UFC breakdowns in the future.